again. We're going live. Hello, 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 and welcome. My name is Sabrina Victoria. This is her talk show. I have Marianne with us today. We're going to be talking all about uncovering your greatness. So get comfortable as we explore the triumphs and the challenges faced by women worldwide. We're going to be offering some insights and some inspiration to fuel your personal and your professional growth. Let's jump right in.
Get ready, because today's guest is about to change the way you view your world. This is Her Talk Show, hosted by Sabrina Victoria.
All right, if you're listening live, welcome. And if you're listening on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay in the comments wherever you're at so we can send you some love later on. We are here every day delving deep into the realms of health, wealth, and leadership with some of the most brilliant women globally. We've interviewed over 600 women, and today we are adding another one to the list. Marianne is a Doctor of Metaphysics, the CEO of the MPowered Group, an award-winning 26-time international best-selling author, a retreat leader, and a real estate agent with EXP Realty, where she works primarily with investors. She is also the host of Meditation Millionaire Podcast, as well as MPoweredTalks Virtual speaker platform, course facilitator, and host of MPowered Resilient Mastermind. Welcome, lady.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. You are so awesome. Isn't this lady wonderful? Oops, this way.
It's a mirror. I do the same thing. Sometimes my eyebrows, like one of my eyebrows is a little darker than the other, and I'm sitting here being like,
I do that too.
Oh, which one?
As we get a tiny bit older, as we grow into our beauty age, we tend to do the eyebrows. So I pencil mine in. I don't like having anything else done. I don't like chemicals. Me and my body don't do too well with chemicals. So I'm like, oh my gosh, did I make them even or not? So
yes.
Come on here. What's happening? It's all good, right? Totally. Authenticity at its best. Now you know we're authentic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I love this. You are, I mean, I would say entrepreneur, right? Like next level. Has this always been in your blood?
Yes. You know what? Even when I was in school, and I started working at my mom's factory. She used to make lingerie. She worked at a place where she did lingerie. So when I was 13 years old, I started to just go in there and help out a bit, and they would give me some, small trinket money. And then at 15, I really started to work at a shoe store in a mall, and I was going to school. And then I was doing all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just one thing. I can have a full-time job and a part-time job if I really want to. And then I'm like, wow, this is really great. But my mind is so fast that I've already solved the problem here really quick. I need stimulation. Like my world's biggest enemy is boredom. So I have no trouble telling you the truth. I'm 62 and a half years old. And if I tell you that all of everything Sabrina just read out is absolutely true. I have a publishing company. So MPowered Group is MPowered Talks, Empowered Source Coaching, because I coach women as well. Empowered Voice Publishing. That's why I just call it the MPowered Group, and I spell it with the MP because those are my initials, and how cool is that?
I love
that. And yes, I am a Doctor of Metaphysics, so I still do some energy healing. I love my frequency devices, and I do a lot of energy healing. I've been a Reiki master for almost 40 years, and I do other energy healings as well. Plus I do some NLP, hypnotherapy, past life regression. So we do all of that. And I totally did not mention that I sell a line of supplements that is in the form of a candy. And these help me age backwards because they're made from the DNA of the plant and they're infused with negative ions. So that makes them 100% absorbable. And so I have been busy. And I just recently decided to take not one, but two coaching programs. One that we were just talking about, which is the bank code or code breaker. and you may or may not know about it, which helps you decipher personalities and helps you close sales faster. And the other one is under the umbrella of Think and Grow Rich. I'm going to be a peace and prosperity coach with Think and Grow Rich. So 2 coaching sessions at 62. And I've been a coach for like 35 plus years.
I love that. What's the vision for that?
What's the vision for which one?
Well, the new coaching that you're taking, is there an expansion? Is there a group?
Yeah, I'm just
where are you going?
Adding to the repertoire and hoping to get into more corporations and also doing more programs. So I was going to put a group program together, and this came together, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to wait until I get at least a little bit into the Think and Grow Rich, and then I'll put a program together, and we'll start before I finish because it is a year-long course. And the CEO of Think and Grow Rich Institute Canada is here because I'm in Canada. I'm in the Toronto area. He lives about 20 minutes away from me. So my business and branding coach is very good friends with him, and therefore so am I. So we, every once in a while, we'll meet up with him for lunch. And he started this program, and I said, I'm in. I love Think and Grow Rich. It's perfect.
That is awesome. Very cool. So when we talk about uncovering our greatness, what would you say, obviously, I'm sure that that most people don't have the energy and the vigor and the vibe that you have. So when you're talking to individuals, when you're talking to clients, what is the first step? What are the first couple of things that somebody should start to do to start to uncover their greatness?
So another thing I didn't mention is I'm actually a certified Kundalini yoga teacher. So we will do some little bitty bits of yoga, but more so than anything else, we will dive right into meditation, because to me, meditation is hugely important, not just to help you in your manifestations or whatever. It is hugely important for you to be able to meditate and to learn how. So it took me 6 months to shut my brain down long enough to be actually calling it meditation. So I understand that no one can start meditating right away, hardly anyone. And so that's the first thing I start them on. So I don't actually do sessions unless we're doing something very specific for a 3-month program. I don't do anything less than 6 months, and 6 months is usually enough to get people going. So 6 months to a year are my usual coaching sessions. So we get into meditation, and then the next thing that I have them do is journaling. So I'm a big journaler. It's huge. The neuroplasticity that happens between the brain and the writing, like you remember things, and things just go into your cells in a different way, right? Like when you write, I love myself, I know it sounds simple and it is simple, but that's how simple it can be. So I always suggest, if they don't do any journaling and they're not writers and they're not into it, we start with 1. But really, I recommend 3. I recommend, and I love myself, because we all suffer from a lack of love for self-worth, self-love. Whenever I speak on self-love as a foundation, and that's kind of my thing. So we do, and I love myself. So a long time ago, when I was, trying to build up my self-love, because I had a horrible, upbringing with my dad being bipolar and very, very abusive with me and my mom. And, I've had a knife at my neck. I've had him strangling me. Like there was a lot of stuff going on in there. I had to figure out ways. And I think this is where all of this came from. So I get it. And so I started writing, I love myself, on a whole page. I thought, okay, every day I'm going to write out a whole page. And then if the day was worse, I would write out 2 or 3 pages. And then one time I remember it was a really bad day, so I wrote out 13 pages. And then I organically just stopped. I vowed that I would do it for a year. I did it for about a year and almost a year and a half. And then it just kind of organically stopped one day. And that's kind of the way it'll happen with you too. But so I have everyone start off with an I love myself journal. A gratitude journal is imperative. And a goals journal, or write down your goals somewhere in there, and a celebratory journal. So really there's 4 that I love the best. I think it's important to celebrate every little thing that you've done right, because we spend so much time on, oh, I need to do this better, I need to do that. Yeah, what about the stuff that you're already doing well? Can we focus on that? Because when you focus on the positive, as we all know, it expands, right? If you focus on the negative, that'll expand too. So let's just focus on this. We already know we're trying to fix it, right? So those 4 journals and the gratitude in general, hugely important. The minute you start gratitude, it turns your whole energy right around, right away, like instantly. So I also, I still do this. Every morning I wake up and I think of 5 people I'm super grateful for. And before I go to sleep, I'm thinking of 5 people I'm super grateful for them. Usually it's from that day, but whatever. So those are my main things that I do. And then
that's awesome. So do you recommend actually 4 journals, 4 separate?
4 would be the best, but again, sometimes people are willing to take one, and even trying to get them to do that sometimes is tough, right?
Yeah.
It depends on who's motivated how much, right?
And then all at the same time, or are we kind of like every day it's kind of a different?
All at the same time, every day. I would write in each one every day. So that way you're forced to think of what you're going to celebrate, because something good had to have come out of that day. If nothing else, you're still alive and breathing.
Yeah.
Totally. I have journals. Gosh, I have journals all over the place. I could probably find, I don't know. I think I counted them the other day. I have something like 27 of them. Nice. And these are just what I can pick up right here, right now. And I like journals, right? Once you get used to them, it's really quite nice.
That's awesome. I like the idea of the celebratory journal, because I think you're right. I think, one of the things that I do talk about is we forget sometimes all the awesome things that we've done in our life.
That's right.
Yeah, we're so hard on ourselves. Like, we're not doing this right. We're not doing that right. But you've done so much right, including you're still alive, like you said.
If you can't find something else that day because it's just been that kind of a crappy day, then yeah, you know what? I'm still here. My dog is still here. My kids are still here, whatever it is that you have. Like, there's something to be celebrating and grateful for, and someone, and it's always, it makes you, it's like when you force yourself, I'm going to do sit-ups today. Okay, so I'm going to journal today. I'm going to journal. Sometimes it's going to be one line. Sometimes it's going to be the whole page. The I love myself should be a whole page. So if you don't like writing a lot, buy a smaller journal.
Oh, that's good. That's good advice. I love that.
But do it, right? Like, write it. And vision for it. I mean, I could go on. Whiteboards, that's my newest thing, whiteboards, because I can change it, right? I can just erase it and then rewrite something new for the day or whatever.
Yeah. So when you're talking about self-love, when you're talking about, raising your vibration with all of this journaling, how does all of this equate to success?
It does, because if you think about it, we're magnetic, right? We're all magnets. We're walking around, we're magnetic, and we're attracting whatever we feel. So if you feel like crap, guess what? You're going to attract. Oh, there's my dog walking. There you go. That's reality at its best. Lucky, can you show us your face instead of your better part? Lucky, come here. If someone's at the door, because that's my door. So that's what, look at how cute he is. So we're walking around like magnets, right? So if you're not feeling good, you're not going to attract that many great things, right? And, I'll tell you the 2 biggest things I end up coaching on is, of course, money, because I had the pleasure of filing for bankruptcy in my life right after I left my husband. So I had the divorce and the bankruptcy. Actually, that particular year, I also had to close down a business that I really loved, and my mom passed away, all in a year. Like, these are 4 big things that will mess up a person's life, that will really put you off your balance. And so these are my 2. It's always the love life, right? And then it's the finances and business, usually business, because, I help them build their business. So it's always the guy. When am I going to start attracting better guys? When you start working on yourself, that's when you're going to start attracting better guys. Because the guy, and this was my measurement too for a long time, because I'm going to tell you something. Anyone here who has been in a divorce will validate this. I left my husband. I did the leaving, and we were very amicable. It was not, he was a little more upset about it than I was needing to get away from him, because we had already outgrown each other. We are extremely, extremely amicable. Nobody cheated on anybody. Nobody did anything. We didn't have another partner waiting for us. Nothing. It wasn't anything at all like that. And I still came out of it feeling like crap. Nobody feels good walking out of a divorce. It just doesn't happen that way. I mean, you might be glad that this part's over and you move on to the next. But, so then I proceeded to date, and oh my gosh, I had all kinds, all kinds. And I'm like, okay, good. So now I can work on this part of myself, right? So I would, they would come to me and I'm like, wow, I'm attracting this. So I want to see where inside of me is this, right? Whatever this was. And so, I would work on that at work. And then progressively, I would see with the men that I would attract. And I'm like, oh, they're getting better and better. And then poof, so often you get a little test, right? So you go backwards. I'm like, why in the world is this in my life now? What's this? But sometimes it's nothing more than a little test, and just to show you how far you've actually grown. Same thing with business, money. How many clients do you get? Same kind of thing. Same, right? You can see yourself progressively grow.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do any work on yourself, think about it. Everyone, and of course, everyone comes to me with this. When is he going to change? When can I change them? You can't control anyone other than yourself. So stop trying. Stop killing yourself, trying to control other situations, external situations. It's you. The minute something isn't working for me, that's when I go inside. Like, which part of me do I need to now work on? What's going on here? Is this another level, or is this something completely different? And that's how that leads to success.
Yes. That's awesome.
The more you love yourself, the more larger your self-value, your self-worth, your everything, the more you feel like you deserve. How are you at taking compliments? How are you at receiving? Right? Like, there's so many places to go with this. And the more you soften that side, the more you have the capability of forgiveness.
Definitely. When you think back to your life and how far you've come, the ups and the downs, where in your journey did you start stepping into authenticity? When did you discover the power of authenticity?
So I mostly, I started actually that part of the divorce part. That was a big chunk of my authenticity came out. A big chunk. Not all of it, though. My coach and I now have been together for about 6 years. It was like whatever was left over, he actually helped me with that. I have to give him some credit for that, because he would be like, even things like, the first time I'll never forget, podcasts, kind of really started coming out like in huge amounts, like 3, 4, 5 years ago. And I was going on my first podcast, and I don't like wearing makeup, like foundation and stuff. It's not my thing. So I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be on a podcast. What am I going to do? So I ran down the street to the closest store that had any kind of makeup. And I spent a couple of $100 on makeup. And I thought, okay, well, that's okay, because I'm sure this isn't going to be the only one. So I put on makeup. I was nervous. I was scared. I was this, that, and the other. And he goes, will you calm down? And I go, no, I'm too nervous. So, and the lady who was doing the podcast, she actually was also his client. So she was wonderful. We were maybe I was tense for about 5, 6, 7 minutes, maybe 8, 9. And by the 10th minute, I was relaxed, and that was it. From that moment, I was so comfortable, and then I didn't care anymore if I had makeup on or anything. So and he would force me. He would like creep up on me and call me and say, "Hey, can you come on camera?" And it'd be like 8 o'clock in the morning or 7:30, and I'd be just waking up looking like not my best. And that's how he sort of beat that right out of me. And I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Now, if I'm in the park, I'll do this, I'll do that. Like, it's all good. Yeah. So he really helped me with that. So that was probably the final part of that came out about roughly 5 or 6 years ago. I'm going to go with that. But a big chunk after the divorce, because I went on a huge, I mean, I have been doing dealing with personal development since I was 15 years old. I was reading The Power of the Subconscious Mind at 15. So I had been doing all kinds of courses and coaching and whatnot. But when the divorce came, then I had the freedom to not have to, talk to anybody. Hey, I'm going to be gone, and have him whining about where am I going. So I went to Hawaii. Hawaii was my first stop. We had a big, huge conference there. And it was gigantic and it was great. So
that's great. I was just recently listening to something on social media. A woman popped up. She said she's doing a challenge where she's purposely doing things to get rejected. It's like 100 challenge of like 100 rejections. Mm-hmm. And the one that she was working on that day, I only saw the one post, but she had to ask somebody for $100. Uh-huh. And not say sorry and not give a reason for the $100. Literally just go up to somebody and ask them for $100, please. Oh, wow. Yeah. So she did like the before. She's like, oh my gosh, I feel like such an idiot. I'm sweating so bad. My heart's going a million miles an hour. My hands are shaking like crazy. She said, this is insane. But then she did it. She showed the kid was kind of down, but she just went up to a random person and she says, hello, can I please borrow $100,000? Can I please borrow $100,000? Can I please borrow $100? And the person's like, no. And then she's like, okay, thanks. And then she walked away. And then she walked away really fast. Yeah. She was like, oh my gosh. But that's exactly what you're talking about. It's like you're building yourself up, you're building your muscle, you're working on yourself all consistently in order to make sure, yeah.
All the time. I don't need that exercise because I did cold calling for 8 years. Not just 8 years. I still do it now, obviously, but we're always doing cold calling. Oh my gosh, probably for like 20 years. So when you do cold calling, the general rule, the real world is you make 100 calls to get one person, one yes. So if you make 20 calls and you get a yes right away, that's great. If you get a yes on the fourth call, that's amazing. I still do door knocking as a real estate agent sometimes. And we were talking about somebody did it with the first door the other day. I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous. I go, the closest I got to it was fourth door and I got a client. And actually it was a really big, because she sold it to my client. So I did a double sale. My client fixed it up and sold it again. So I had the listing and the everything. So it was great.
Oh, I love that. What a cool story.
That was a great door knock.
Yeah.
So, I don't need that exercise, but yeah, because asking someone for $100 just to get rejected, that's no big deal.
Yeah. Well, most people don't have that muscle though. Most people shy away from sales, any kind of sales.
It's true. It's true.
Not interested at all.
Yeah. There's like, honestly, there's probably like 25% of people who can even do sales of any kind.
Yeah, definitely. What is your thought process on, when you're talking about rejection, when you're talking about, 100 no's to get one yes, realistically? I feel like there's a lot of letting go that has to happen mentally. How do you, how do you do that?
All of everything I just said, the meditations, the everything. You build that muscle of self-love. Anything anyone says outside of you has nothing to do with you. He's not rejecting you or she. They're rejecting what you're selling. And so if you know, okay, it would be purely, at this point, I mean, unless your energy is that strong and you can magnetically, draw to yourself. You don't need to make 100. I don't usually need to make 100 anymore, but I'm just saying that's when you're starting out. If you know that 100 people are going to say no, you have nothing to worry about. You're basically almost expecting it, not in a way of expecting, like when I'm doing it, I'm not expecting the no. So I'm manifesting the no. It's not like that. It's just like, oh, yeah, they might say no, they might say yes. I have completely detached from the outcome. I'm going to make my calls. That's what I'm going to do. This is what we're going to do. I have a habit of closing probably about 70%, if not maybe 75. I'd comfortably say sometimes 80, not 100, but I don't know if anyone can really actually do 100. But that would be good, though, if you can. Good for you. Congratulations. But yeah, you just criticism, same thing. It comes from that person. They don't need, not everybody needs what you're selling either,
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, I had this girl, she came into one of our networking groups and she goes, I have talked to 12 women who really need my service. And I go, yeah, they do, but they're not going to buy it. Like not all 12 of them are going to buy it. Like people can't decipher that. They can't recognize that they need it. They're not ready for it. They might do it later. I go, just relax. It's okay. Like they don't have to say yes now. I don't like bullying people into things. I think that's one of the reasons I try to empower my clients, even with real estate. I'll be like, well, what do you think? I don't give my opinion until they ask for it. Mm-hmm. And they always ask for it because they always want the professional's opinion, right? So they'll say, well, what do you think? Do you think this is a good offer? Or I'll say, hey, in my opinion, this is a good offer. And then if they need more detail, then I'll say, this is why it's good. The price is good. There's no conditions. I don't know, whatever, right? And so not everything is for you and not every person is for you. And if you know that not every single person, like you're not going to date every man that ever asks you out, I don't think. And if you go on a dating site, not everyone on that dating site is for you, right? So then not every sales pitch is for you. Not every vitamin is for you. Not every book is for you. Not every coach is for you. So if you know that and you're just at peace, mm-hmm. Inside here, there's some peace, and in here, there's peace. Yeah. Okay, so maybe not, and maybe not now. Some people buy, people buy differently. I'm a person that, I like it. I'm going to buy it. Here's my credit card. I don't ask questions. I sign up. Let's go. And I do it for big ticket items too. I did that recently for a $25,000, and that's in US dollars, which for me is about 30, I don't know. I'd have to figure it out, 34,000 Canadian. Because it felt good to me, but I'm comfortable with me. I feel strong inside, and my intuition and my feeling is how I make decisions, and I can decipher them quick. If I feel like, I don't know, then I'm probably not going to do it. And I'm probably going to give you a no fast.
Makes sense.
Try me later. I might change my mind. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Don't be annoying and try every 5 minutes and every day and every week. Just try me in a couple of months if you want. I don't mind. I'm like, good for you for trying.
Great. I love that. This has been great. Love this. I love everything that you're bringing to the table. I love these journal ideas that you're talking to people about as far as uncovering their greatness. I'd love for you, we have a ton of people watching live right now. I would love for you to talk a little bit about exactly what you do. Who do you help? Who should be reaching out to you?
So I mostly work with women. I'm happy to work with men as well. I'm starting to work a little bit more with them. I'm actually going to be putting together a men's mastermind. So if you're a man out there, come talk to me, because I'm going to be starting this out with another man. So there's going to be two of us doing it. Women primarily over really any age, but over 30 and more so over 40 that are starting I want to say life over, but I don't think you start over. You just take what you already have. So they're starting over. Maybe they just came out of a divorce. They're feeling lost. They're very vulnerable. Women who are looking to build a business. I mean, I do these virtual summits. I've been doing them for quite a while, and it's one of the things I teach or I coach on and teach when we're with my annual clients. So they are so scared of speaking and public speaking and getting out there that I have them speaking and I have them putting their own summits together. So you will walk away with a much, much stronger self-love. If you're feeling crumbled, if you're feeling lost, if you don't know where to turn, and you want to work on your finances, because that's another big important thing to me, is that you take responsibility for your own finances, because a lot of women are coming out of marriages where the husband took over everything. He did everything and they don't know how to do anything. So that's another big thing. Yeah. And just, you need some uplifting and some empowerment. Come to me. Let's talk.
Yes, that's great. As far as following you on social media, as far as your website, where can people find you?
So www.MPoweredTalks.com is right there where my name is. That's one of my websites. I have obviously numerous ones for real estate, but honestly, Facebook is where I am the most active, and LinkedIn. And my email, if you would like it, is spiritualtouch11, like the number 11, @gmail.com.
Fabulous. That's great. Well, for those of you listening live, for those of you listening on the replay, if you're resonating with Marianne and all the goodness that she shared today, make sure you check out her website at MPoweredTalks.com. It is in a clickable link in the description below. So go ahead and just do a little scroll wherever you're at and click on that to find out more information. And then she predominantly hangs out on LinkedIn and Facebook. Is that under your name or under your business?
No, it's under my name. I do have a business account. It's just real estate, but you will see me on Forbes, on the cover of Forbes. That is my link. On Facebook is the best place, because you can go check out my Empowered Talks summits. So we always live stream them for free, and I offer it to the public for free, because my whole point with them is to empower as many people as humanly possible. So free is the best way.
That's awesome. Well, this has been great. I so appreciate you being here, hanging out with us. Any closing thoughts as we start to wrap up?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. This was an absolute pleasure. My final thought for you is, whatever it is that's sitting inside of your heart, just do it. Nike had it right. Just do it. Forget about the procrastination. Forget about waiting for perfection. It's never coming. Don't wait for that. Don't waste time. Go do what you want. You're worth it.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Well, that brings us to an end of yet another incredible episode of Her Talk Show. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for all the inspiration. To our dedicated listeners who have made it to the very end here, thank you so much. Remember to follow, like, and share. Once again, I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I invite you to join our amazing community, Her Nation, where we continue to uplift each other every step of the way by having conversations just like this one. That is also in a clickable link in the description below. Until next time.